So I did watch a lot of AEW this week.
Yeah.
And,
Yep.
you
There's
know,
definitely some stuff to talk about on AEW, which
we
is
were
awesome.
talking about the fact that they keep doing all these special shows.
We were just talking about that
and
before
it's
the show.
June, like the month of June, for some reason, they've done like 3 of these major events.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, like take your pick.
But I kind of want to know, am I missing something with that? You know what I mean? Like, do they purposely name their weekly shows now? Is that a thing? I don't know.
think so. Like I think they do is,
because I feel like they've done that in the past.
It's weird the way they do it. They'll do like AEW Dynamite, and then they'll go, they'll give it a name.
They'll give it a subtitle.
Yeah, and it's I don't know. It's odd. The
Winter
way
is coming or some shit. It's like, what?
But
okay,
yeah, that's probably actually one of them.
Yeah, I think it actually is.
But
and then Glacier comes out.
Part of it is that they're doing they're doing promotions with they're working with different promotions.
That's right.
So I think that's part of it. Like the CMML or CMML thing. That's
yeah, and
that's what
we
was.
Were just talking about was Grand Slam Mexico.
Yes. So I think that's what it comes down to is they work with a lot of different promotions, and I love that personally.
Me too. I have no issue with that at all.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I watched a lot of this. I love Adam Page. I think he's great.
It's one of my favorite AEW guys.
And
always has been.
This promo here was a big deal for him.
Huge deal. Yeah. Comes out, cuts a whole promo in Spanish.
Yeah.
Good
really
Spanish.
Cool.
Super over for that. Apparently, CMLL was like, we must get this guy back here.
Yes.
Now.
Well, the guy gets huge pop. I mean, he is the babyface.
He reminds me of what Sting was to WCW in the late 80s, early 90s, where he was just the babyface guy who was made in WCW to be WCW's guy. And Adam Page was around, I guess, but he wasn't considered a major star, and he was made one in AEW.
Yeah.
His story, I always say, my favorite AEW storyline they ever did was everything surrounding Page, the Young Bucks, and Kenny Omega when Omega was the champ. And they told the whole long form story over like almost 2 years or something of Hangman Page's struggles, his getting abandoned by the Bucks and Kenny and kicked out.
Yes.
And then he sided with the what were they called? The Dark Brotherhood or something like that. Oh, that's Skyrim and fucking Elder Scrolls. Hell yeah. But you know what I'm talking about though.
Yeah,
it was the faction that used to have Brody, right?
Yes.
Used to be Brody.
Yeah, what the fuck is that called?
That's gonna bug me.
Yeah,
but either way, he ended up squatting up with them, and they helped him find himself again. And then he eventually beat Kenny for his first bit, like finally winning the big one after losing to Moxley in the first title match, and then losing to Jericho for the title and stuff. Like they did a great job with his path to the title.
I think they've done a good job. So like, here's the thing.
And then his feud with fucking Swerve was god tier.
Yes.
It was some of the best
Swerve
shit they had
Swerve
going
is great
on.
too, though.
He is, yeah. For sure.
Yeah, that's tough to avoid. I mean, they've done a good job because he is the baby face that the whole thing's kind of culminating right now. And that's why I want to get tuned into this a little more.
Yes.
Because you got Moxley and the Young Bucks and, the Death Riders and the Young Bucks kind of working together as this like super faction bad guy.
They're basically like a de facto corporation type faction.
Right.
Not a ripoff of it in any stretch.
It's the same atmospheric.
Yeah.
It's that weird realm.
Or an NWO, like where you've got guys that are in the office and guys that are just holding everything hostage.
Yes. Like how do we overcome this?
They screw job everybody.
And then you have Adam Page, who's looking right now like this sort of savior character.
Yeah. Which is that's like they needed that the whole time.
Yes.
They needed a guy to be the savior.
I think it's all coming together at the right time because he's getting over really hard.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you have this reign of the Death Riders that's been there for a long time.
And it's felt
and
so
people are like
stale.
over it,
Yeah.
So it's like it's all kind of working the right way.
And I'm willing
Don't
to
fumble
bet,
this.
I'm willing to bet that the reason the Death Riders thing felt so stale is because they may have been just waiting for somebody
someone
to
to
get
come
over
along.
at this level to be able to be that guy.
I would hope that's the way that they approached it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
I
that's
hope
me
it's
thinking
not.
logically about it.
Yes.
But that might not be the way they,
Yeah.
you know, who
Yep.
knows?
Who knows?
Maybe they just wanted to roll with this Death Riders thing and have the, you know, them just
Yeah.
be dominant for a while. And they've
but
succeeded.
look, excuse me. There's two things you can't deny about the Death Riders. One, it's bad. Like, it's a bad name. It's a bad faction. It's been a miss on a ton of things.
It's corny as hell.
It's corny as fuck. Every single promo that Moxley cuts makes no sense and makes you just go, why?
Yeah.
Right?
They have talent, though.
Oh,
That's
crazy talent. Crazy talent. Having said that, the other thing you can't deny is that when you have a faction that is at the top and they're that hated, they are going to make somebody.
Yes.
If they use that right,
exactly,
it's now ripe and ready to make somebody huge when they put an end to that shit.
Yeah.
You know?
That's exactly why I think it's working out well for Adam Page.
They could have done it in a way where it was
now it's not to say
Riders were cool.
He might not be the guy. He might not be the guy, though.
He might not.
You know what I mean? They might say, hey.
But that's not the point. Even if he's not the guy, you have him be the guy. And then if he loses, you start building an Avengers like they did with the Roman story.
Yeah.
It's not a ripoff of the Roman story either.
No, but you start saying, hey, we need people that get to help get behind this guy because obviously
you bring in more.
Right.
So that you even the odds.
Yes.
And then when you finally have the regime change, you have Hangman as the centerpiece versus Moxley for all the marbles. And you expect that everything Moxley can throw at him is going to get thrown at him. And he's finally going to have counters for it with a team he assembles. You know?
I honestly would. I just
so.
wanted to.
I hope he brings Swerve in and that two enemies become friends as a common enemy against Moxley. I think they could do it
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because more or less everybody on the roster is against.
How could you not be?
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
I really like. I mean, I guess if I was booking it, it's Adam Page versus John Moxley
That's
at All
right.
In, and so I would say,
which it actually is right now.
You gotta,
that is the match.
You gotta. I would say he needs to win. And you need to involve this briefcase somehow.
Yeah,
there needs to be a reveal of some sort.
There needs to be something
of what's in that briefcase, and I think they should swerve everybody.
Yeah, it's not going to be the championship.
It can't be.
It's going to be a fucking noose or some shit they're going to use in the match to torture
like
each
some
other.
Weapon or
a staple gun or some bullshit.
Because the AEW loves to
saw
use
that they use a fucking saw, like
sawzall. Just a sawzall.
Dude. Some bullshit.
I'm excited for that show.
Me too. Tony Storm
and Mercedes Moné.
Okay. Yeah.
And Mercedes just keeps winning belts. Like they just strapped another one on her the other day.
The problem that's tough because she gets a lot of hate for that shit.
The belt
but at the same
thing.
time, she just is good in the ring.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
She
just is.
Yeah. I think she's
and having her face Tony is the ultimate final boss end game match. Yeah. That just is the match. Is Tony and Mercedes. It's not even close.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
I just hate knowing that's not going to be the main event.
It can't be. It can't be.
It can't be because of Mox and Hangman and shit.
Well, you also have Kenny Omega and Kazuchika Okada.
Kazuchika Okada. Oh my God.
Let me see.
We need to look at that card right now.
Yeah, what is it?
We might have to watch that one like together.
It's the 12th, I believe.
July 12th?
Yes.
Yeah, July 12th.
Yeah, let's see if they have the card. That's
so
all
far,
that they've announced.
all they have is Kazuchika versus Kenny.
Yeah.
Unifying the international and the continental, so they're going to have their own intercontinental.
That was crazy too. So
cool.
International and continental.
It doesn't bother me at all. Okada versus Omega. If they go, this is going to be a barbershop fight. I go, I watch it, and it better be 1 hour.
Yeah. Because, they've had 3 matches already. Then you got this one. I mean,
multiple of which are some of the greatest matches I've ever seen in my entire life.
I think, dude, I can't wait for that. I know they're both older, but I think they're
Don't
both
matter.
still ready to go. Like
they are.
that was wild too, because Okada would like hit him with a couple like elbows or whatever
Yep.
to the gut, and Omega's like spitting up blood.
Yeah,
Playing
which was
on the whole
wicked ridiculous,
diverticulitis thing.
but it was cool.
It's
that
like
shit
I
doesn't
don't
bother
think
me.
that's how that works, how
No.
diverticulitis works,
No.
but you know, well, it was cool.
I use it though. You know, as long as Omega's good, use
Yeah.
it.
And Kenny's going spitting blood.
And then Moxley versus Paige for the world title.
Yeah,
and then
dude,
Tony versus Mercedes for the women's world championship too is huge.
Yeah, I mean, so
That's
far that
the
looks great.
biggest women's match like in wrestling right now. Is
Oh,
Tony
yeah.
Storm versus Mercedes over WWE.
Yeah, for sure.
I genuinely think that.
Oh no, I can't think of
Yeah.
another match, a WWE match that, in the women's division that would be
That's
even if you
this
put a super,
monumental.
yeah, even if you put a super, what would be the super fight right now in
I don't know.
WWE?
Fucking,
It's like
it would be.
I guess it would be the champs, right?
It would have
Well,
to
EO
be.
is. Well, I guess you would say.
The problem
Tiffany
is
Stratton.
the problem is so many of the women in WWE are that level that you can't point to two people that just stand out miles above the pack.
Yeah.
There's 30.
Yeah, they have
And
a
so
lot of.
there is no super match to end all matches you can do, because I could sit here and rattle off 20 names right now that if any of them face each other, you go, that's absolutely guaranteed. You know what I mean?
I'm very hopeful for what happens with AEW here in the next
Me
couple
too.
months.
We sat here and we talked about how much everything Tony touches is gold, Tony Storm,
Yeah.
and everything Moxley's been touching has been trash. And the past like month, it's really felt
Starting to
like
turn a
stuff
corner.
starting to build up again.
Yeah.
They're starting to get momentum, and it's so hard to get that when you lose it. And it feels like they're really starting to get back into a good spot. And I'm just really, like you, I'm very hopeful for the future.
Yeah, I
of
wish
what they're
they
doing.
wouldn't do 3 major events like that. I wish they would.
In
I
one
would like to
month,
just
it's
watch a
weird.
Dynamite. I would like to just watch Collision
I get it.
at some point.
I'm with you.
Because these are like 4-hour shows.
But the thing is you need it for storytelling. You need the Dynamite and Collision, is what I'm saying.
Yes.
You
Because
need
these
to
big
have
shows
that are some matches and a lot of storytelling.
yeah, like these
you know?
major events are not storytelling. I mean, there's partially, but
There's
you know,
some.
you can build a lot of that
It's
on your
not as
weeklies.
effective though
Yeah.
as having weeklies that are doing it for
Right.
you. Yeah.
And they, you know, they still have time. Obviously, they still got
of course.
you know, a little less than a month before
Yeah.
All In.
Yeah, dude. I'm very excited for that.